to All the Men I've Tolerated Before with Natalie, your weekly look at everyday misogyny. Today, our guest is a new friend. Kristiana is a writer and reached out to me because finally I have someone who wants to tackle the very important topic of the men of Grey's Anatomy. I've been waiting. Kristiana, thank you for giving me this opportunity to dive deep into a show I just refuse to let go after 53 seasons.
It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I think I have been training for this for the past 23 seasons of my life. My husband is very excited as well and trying to give me tips all along the way.
I love it.
Yeah,
I,
it's a group sport in this house.
I've never had to watch Grey's Anatomy with a husband.
Yes.
I used to watch it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I used to watch it with my mother on DVD. That's how we watched the first two seasons.
Yes.
And then I would keep up with it weekly until it streamed. And then we binged it a bunch of times. And I've officially done a complete run through only twice because eventually you get so mad you walk
Yes.
away.
Yes. Okay. No, I also have a very supportive group text behind me, as all women do, that I'm like, did we watch Grey's Anatomy or can I just tell you everything? And they're the like, just tell us everything, save us from watching it. So I'm like that person in the friend group.
Yeah, my sister also pretends to watch Grey's Anatomy
Yeah.
and instead just waits for me to live tweet her my thoughts.
Yes. So I started a rewatch about I mean, I'll rewatch the first season a lot. Like that's my warm blanket on a tough day. But I think I made it to season 7 and then I just had to leave. I was like, I'm done. I cannot do this anymore of my rewatch. So like I've watched every episode at least once, but I don't think I could ever do a full rewatch. It's just so much at this point.
Well, and you really just have to be at a really dark holiday depressive episode like I was this last time
Yeah.
to just keep going because you're like, I have no new ideas on what to click on the TV, and Grays will just load up another episode for me.
Right, right. So how was this rewatch? Like
Oh,
when was the rewatch?
no, it was literally Christmas 2024.
Okay, so it's fresh. It's fresh. Okay.
It's fresh.
Wow. How long did it take?
Oh, probably embarrassingly not long enough.
Oh,
Like,
okay. No, I
yeah,
love that. I'm really happy for you.
thank you. I hole up like a gremlin during the holidays and I love to be depressed under a blanket. And so, yeah, it probably didn't take as long as it should have because I was truly only keeping up with Bravo shows
Okay.
and then moving over to Grey's Anatomy.
I love it. I love it. So the full rewatch. The things of dreams. I'm just so impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. It elicited so much rage. I,
Yeah.
number one, it's like I'm almost like, should I never have gone back? I've gone back to like One Tree Hill and I'm not pissed. I've gone back to Desperate Housewives and I'm not pissed.
Yeah.
But Grey's Anatomy, I was mad the entire time.
Right. I think this last so when I knew we were going to get to do this, which I was just elated for, I was like, well, it's time to episode 1, season 1, pilot, best pilot ever. And it did change this time knowing what we were going to talk about, being like, okay, wait, I see this differently now. I got to let it go. I got to let go this moment cuz it's making me grouchy.
I'm pretty sure I've ruined my own life by making my whole brand be about like, what if we just talked about misogyny all day, every day? That's sexy. But yeah, from the pilot is a perfect pilot. And I need everyone to know that Derek has maybe 2 to 4, he has an entire season because that first season is only about 9 episodes before I'm pissed. And then I'm pissed at him until he dies. And maybe I'm still pissed.
I mean, I think we all, yes, that's okay. That's fair. You don't have to let that go.
I realize that there are 16 million hours of the show, and some of you fell off. Some of you have only been clicking on BuzzFeed articles. Some of you have never picked up a Grey's Anatomy fixation. I'm going to spoil everything, and that's my right as the producer and host of the show.
Yeah, and I think the statute of limitations on a show that started in, I think, 2004, really, like, we gotta talk about it. Like, there's just like, and I think it's in the zeitgeist that, there are those ones episodes that you're like, "Oh, that happened. We know this happened," right? So,
And we also talked about like what Grey's Anatomy through these very good looking, very charming men implanted in our brains about like our worth as a woman. And I need you to know that I was a sophomore in high school. If we're talking 2004, I was in that freshman sophomore bubble of high school when the first episode of Grey's Anatomy aired
okay, so you were a sophomore in high school.
because I graduated in '07.
Okay, so March 27, 2005. So we're at 20 years. We're at
Yeah.
20 years. Okay.
Oh my gosh, when I say that show's been off for 20 years, I'm actually correct. Good for me. Well,
Yeah.
I'm
Your
not even
internal Gray's clock is really like
oh my god.
super accurate.
Well, and I think because people say, Natalie, why are you still watching Grey's Anatomy? None of the Greys are on it. And I go, because it's just so comforting to still have weekly TV.
Yes, I agree. I think I think they did a good job introducing new characters. Like from like the premise of the show, having a group of interns, having a group of attendings and residents. I still don't know who's what or what color they wear, but having that rotation of, oh, we got new interns in, and some of them are good, and some of them, spoiler, get shot a lot. So, they don't all last, but I think they do a fair job of at least like entering like the new class of TV and introducing us to people that I mean, this newest round, I think I have a love-hate relationship with. And I will stop mid-season, and then when I have like a long weekend or I'm sick in bed, it's like, "Oh, it's time to watch 7 episodes of Grey's Anatomy and finish this season that I started 10 months ago."
Yeah. No, I watch it weekly and then I'm pissed when Shonda goes 5 episodes and then is like, oopsie, it's Arbor Day. We're off. And I'm like,
Yes,
Shonda,
absolutely.
Shonda. So yeah, I haven't angrily emailed her yet, but let's go back to that first season. And we have Derek Shepherd and Preston Burke, the men who started it all. And I will say that that first season of Grey's Anatomy, I was like, "Oh my god, Derek's humble. He's got like a good sense of humor. He truly is taking this power dynamic a little bit seriously, even though he's just kind of a goof who loves fairies."
Yes, yes.
And then I'm
Fairy
like,
boat's not like fairies, the
right,
magical creature. That should be stated for
that should
newbies.
he loves boats because they're in Seattle. Uh, and then there's Preston Burke, who is like the serious doctor man, who's very sexy, who is also put trying to keep Christina at arm's length away. And I was like, see, respect.
Yeah.
He respects her.
I I think I wonder they if Shonda invented the trope of I had a one night stand, oops, he's my boss. Like, did that exist before, or is that just like my touchstone of the trope? Because I love it. I want everyone to have a one night stand, start a new job, oops, he's my boss. Like, it's so good.
It's so good. It's so funny. It's a real great gotcha. It's also an HR violation and illegal.
Yes,
But
on my rewatch. So I did some of the rewatch in like 2023, 2024, and I think I most often texted, "Where is HR?" to my friends. I was like, this is just every single step of the way, there are HR violations. And they're not all sexual. Some of them are just, confidentiality. Like maybe George shouldn't do surgery on Meredith. Like, that's just weird.
That's weird. They all know one another intimately. And I the thing about like the only other example I can even think of of the oopsie, I slept with the guy not knowing that tomorrow he was going to be important is that's how they play off the Pretty Little Liars relationship between Arya and Ezra, the teacher and Pretty Little Liar combo.
Oh.
Meets him at a college cafe or something.
Oh, no.
And they like go hook up mildly. And then the next day he's her new English teacher.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do my next deep dive will be on this trope. I will get back to you.
Which, by the way, is a trip that young Natalie, who was a pretty little liar, was like, and one day I too will wake up and have accidentally fucked my boss or my teacher. And I
Exactly.
and I tried to just like manifest that energy for me. I go, and one day I too will have an obscene power imbalance that's ruining my
But
life.
I am probably not the one in power.
Right, correct.
I want the imbalance of power not in my direction.
I think that that's so interesting because according to Derek's whiny ass, Meredith was in charge the entire time.
Oh my God, thank you for bringing this up. I just finished the prom episode, which is like a fave of mine. And when they sleep together, and then Callie comes in and she's like, Izzy needs you. And he's like, Meredith, what does this mean? And I was like, bullshit, Derek. You chose Addison. And so just because you finally got mad at Chris O'Donnell Robin that like Meredith has another viable option, like don't pretend she's had power this whole time because he all he does is take away power from her. And yeah, I'm currently very mad at this rewatch, so the feelings are fresh.
I am mostly mad because Meredith allows Derek to make the decision that he needs to make as the person with a spouse involved. She's like, figure it out and let me know. And she gives him the space to do that as much as she can, considering she's his right hand man at every surgery he has to
Yes,
do.
she's the best intern brain surgeon ever.
Ever, ever. And so to me, I'm like, oh, that's almost mature. But then Derek's so mad the entire time because he himself chose Addison. Like Meredith didn't even break up with you. She was like, figure out your house and you let me know. And then she said, choose me, love me.
Yeah, pick me, baby. Best line in like I hope there are royalties just on that phrase. And then Shonda just has a beach house somewhere on those lines alone.
And it's on Pick Me Lane. And
Yes. No, so yes, that I I just finished watching so Meredith, the prom episode, she ends up having appendicitis and is all loopy on the drugs and talks to Addison and Derek and Addison talk and she's like, "Don't hurt her again." And then Derek is like, it's when Derek and Finn, the vet,
yeah,
that is Meredith's other viable option in season 2 or 3, are like both dating her. And so then Derek's like, I don't want to hurt her, so I'm gonna bow out. And that moment pisses me off because that's not what Meredith asked for. Like Meredith asked for romance. She wanted people to be dating her. She wanted to have a choice. And Derek, trying to be the good guy, quote unquote, takes away that choice from her. And that is its own power dynamic that like is enraging me, like blind rage. I'm so mad at that moment because she wanted the choice. And the choice was finally going to be hers to pick Vet or Derek, and she was probably going to pick Derek eventually, but he was too obsessed with being the good guy, which is also why he chose Addison initially because he wanted to be the good guy.
yeah, he was just saving face. And the way, and then at past season 3, when I think Addison just eventually gets sick of Derek and is like, I'm going to make the choice and actually just vacate and sleep with Mark. good for me.
Yeah, that's all in that same
Yeah.
season 3 like appendicitis thing that happens. So
Yes.
yes, that's all.
Because I will say, like, the Addison moment of being like, don't hurt her again. Like, it's one thing for you to be so mad at me that this is what's happening, but like, she doesn't have to be involved. There was in those early seasons of Grey's Anatomy such camaraderie between all of the women, even women who shouldn't even have a relationship, like Meredith and Addison.
Yeah. Well, and even like Addison finds those panties and Callie says that they're hers. And like Meredith and Izzy are super mean girls to Callie so much when she's with George. And Callie pulling those panties off of the bulletin board to save face for Meredith is like one of my all-time favorite moments. Like, and even like finding Derek and Meredith in the room and like helping Meredith tie up her dress. You're like, Callie is a girl's girl and she is like going to bat for them when they're nothing but mean to her.
And I will say that, like, I think Grey's Anatomy in those first seasons is a testament to, like, you can have all the friends in the world and you can all be the smartest people in every medical class that you ever went to. And yet you can still be gaslit and you can still be lied to and you can still just be dicked around and have it have ramifications to everything that's going on in your friendships, in your career, and everything. I mean, it is a soap opera, but, like, I think that we as women, and I know that, like, this is me talking about myself, I get so wrapped up in the, "I should have known better. I should have seen it coming. I should have, like, this is what happens, and there were signs," or whatever, and I was like, "Well, Meredith Grey was doing brain surgery and also couldn't figure out that Derek was, like, a little whiny man, and she was the woman next to him when he died." So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. I do think like, 2005 me, I was newly married. I was still in my 20s. I was young. And I'm still married to my husband. Like we have a great relationships. And yet, we watch this soap opera with like, is this love? Like this is so sweet or like this is so good or all that like good stuff, and now rewatching it, you're like, "Oh, no, why are you yelling at someone to say that you love them?" Or like, "Why won't you let me love you in this really aggressive, yelly tone that is really mean?" Like, I'm like, "I don't want to be told I'm loved that way." And maybe I thought that was sexy, and maybe there's a place for that in a fun way, but not like in a, "This is your real declaration of love to me."
Well, and I think what it boils down to is that, like, Derek and Preston Burke are the same category of men, where Derek has figured out his entire fairy tale in his head, and you're just showing up to take the role of his princess. And it's still going to be, I'm the good guy, I'm a knight, I'm a hero, whatever. But that story's done been told in his brain, and you're just playing a role. Whereas Preston Burke, a very practical individual, still assumes that any partner he has will adopt all of these silent expectations for his life. And he just creates a narrative in his head about Christina that was not true.
The way he just talks down to Christina, the way Burke talks down to Christina so often in the first like 2 seasons, and then when his hand is injured is so toxic. And he's one of the ones who's like yelling at her, and I was taking notes during this rewatch because his like I love you moment is he like it's like when he calls her a slob, and he's like, "And I am amazing. Like, you're a slob, and I am amazing, and I'm Preston Burke, and I just wanna love you." And you're like, "You just told her she's a slob, like, she's nothing, but you want to love her, but she doesn't wanna be loved in the way he wants to love her." And their relationship is just so dark and twisty, but not in the fun Grays way, but I guess the fun Grays way, that like when he lets her, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but when he lets her cover for his hand trimmer in surgery. Like that's when the power imbalance really makes my head explode because she's putting her career on the line to prop up his career. And he is totally fine with it. And even though maybe it's her idea, like, because that's what he says, like, this was your idea. And you're like, but he's an adult man who could have told his adult man doctors that he had a hand trimmer, but he didn't.
Well, and he's also an adult man who's already made his name in his career and will get all of the leeway in the hospital available to him. We're like,
Right.
yeah. And
Right. And yeah, go ahead.
no, so it's just like it's so weird going back and rewatching these episodes and just watching these two men and their toxic little egos be like, I'll be the best. I deserve to be chief because they all dick fight over who's chief. And I deserve to be chief. I deserve to fuck this lady whenever I want to and scream at her that it's because I'm in love with her, but also list all of the things that I hate about her right after I tell her that I'm in love with her.
Right. Well, and I really thought it was interesting the when it's found out that Meredith is sleeping with Derek and Christina is sleeping with Burke, the assumption that these women should have known better or
Mhm.
that they're to blame for this from their other interns, like Izzy's nothing but mean to Meredith, and thinks that Meredith's being taken advantage of, and Bailey thinks she's gonna get preferential treatment. There's no screen time given to these men being told anything about their actions by their friends because they don't have any friends at this point, or like the heat is all on the women, like the women have caused these men to stumble, and that dynamic in the first 2 seasons at least is frustrating to me. And to skip ahead, like in this newest season with Winston Indugu and what is her name? I wrote it down. Melon is her last name. Jules. Um is a redo of that dynamic where Indugu is trying to be the right nice guy and doesn't want to cross the line because of how it looks to Richard, but Jules is being punished and her career is going to suffer by not getting to have a teacher as good as Winston is.
And we'll see in approximately, I don't know, 60 business days when Shonda decides to show her show again about how it will work out for Jules because Jules looks that man dead in the eye and was like, hey, I realized that I like talked you through a bad time and a bad emotional moment, but I wasn't crossing a sexual or relationship line. That was not my intention. And not that he knows because he hasn't asked her anything about herself. She's recently had a queer relationship. She's going through a breakup. Like, and I think that's the thing about the men of Grey's Anatomy. They can only view these women as they show up to them right in front of them. So they're never thinking like, I wonder how Christina and Meredith's day is going. No, never. Like, I wonder if I should ask Jules what her perfect date is. Never. Or like if she has friends, has she made friends in the hospital or whatever? Or like why she has a complete emotional spiral after her former partner has to leave the hospital. Uh no, it's literally like these women show up in front of me and then they are only there to drive my attraction and my feelings and my ego and my career at the at the end of the day. And I think with like Derek and Preston, it became so clear that for a majority, and I'm even talking about the Derek and Meredith marriage, the majority of those relationships were spent telling Meredith and Christina, you could be doing better. You could be calmer. You could not be a pain in my ass. Derek literally has a meltdown and tells Meredith that she's difficult to love because she has a depressive episode. And I'm like, yeah, Derek, her mom is Ellis Gray. We have depression.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting in the first season when they're getting to know each other and trying to date a little bit. And it's the episode she finds out about Addison when the phone's ringing, his phone's ringing, and it's Addison, and her phone is ringing, and it's the care center where her mom is, and her mom having Alzheimer's is still a big secret. And the fact that those two secrets are being equated in the parallel storytelling is not well weighted when it comes down to it, that like me keeping privacy about my famous mom's disease is not the same as Derek keeping that he is married still from her. Like, and but yet in the Gray's parallel storytelling, those are the two things that are running alongside each other. And I just found it really imbalanced in this rewatch of, oh no, those are not the same. Those are not the same weighted things at all.
Well, and then like Derek crosses a boundary and goes to the care facility to visit Ellis. No one asks him to.
Oh, I forgot that. Oh my
And
gosh.
um so he does that. He be doing that. And at no point does he have any empathy or forethought for like how this affects Meredith as a person. It's only the like dings it has on their relationship. And he weaponizes Ellis a lot against her or Meredith's depression that they talk call the dark and drearies. But like it's depression. Like you don't just like wake up, go to your job, have to do emergency hours next to a ferry and then go, I'm gonna drown myself. And then Derek's like, instead of just waiting for Meredith to wake up from this coma, he's just telling everyone she's trigger warning, suicidal. He's like, she knows she knows how to swim. She's a strong swimmer. I've watched her swim. And he's creating a whole narrative. So then by the time she wakes up, he's like, I can't love you. It's hard. You have too many feelings.
Oh my gosh. I'm really glad I haven't gotten to that part of the rewatch yet.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to move on from those bozos and
They're the worst. I
and
really do think they might be the worst.
oh no, they're not, because here comes the man of the hour.
Oh
The
no.
reason that hatred flames my entire body even when I'm not watching the show, and that man is Owen fucking Hunt.
He is he is the worst, you're right. I stand corrected. He wins the title of the worst of the worst.
My first note for Owen Hunt is he is only on this show to bring women grief.
I think that is true.
He's like the bad ghost, the death ghost in the Christmas Carol, just following these women around, taking their body autonomy.
I did make an unhinged graph that I am show holding up right now that is just a really unhinged moment of who slept with who. And Owen gets in it is he's with Christina, he's with Teddy, he's with Amelia. Is that I mean, but they're like but he marries all of them, right? He's married to 3 of them, like, and
The only woman that he starts sleeping with and doesn't marry and or have a child with is DeLuca's sister, which it's kind of glossed over
he
that him
got
and
with her.
yes, the hottest woman on the planet.
She really is the hottest. I want her back on this show. I want her back.
Because I don't know what Owen Hunt, and maybe like Shonda call in. Is Owen Hunt on this show to warn me about conservative men? To be like, conservative men are bad. Look how sad all these women are who have ever stood next to Owen.
Yes. Like these very successful, brilliant, wonderful women. Like brilliant. They're all brilliant.
And because DeLuca's sister, who I've never had a grasp on her name because they immediately take her off Grey's Anatomy to put her on the firefighter show that I
Yes.
refuse to watch.
Mhm. Yes. Which is
Does
now canceled,
which
right?
is now canceled. she dumps Owen because she just wants to be casually having sex with him, and he starts treating her like his girlfriend. And then she's like, I only do open relationships. And his brain can't compute. He's already decided they're married.
Of course.
Yes. So they have to stop sleeping together. And I think that's how he ends up preying on Christina and or Amelia.
I think Christina comes first though, right? Because of the
I
icicle.
Yeah, the Christina stuff. Right. We do see Owen Hunt for like 45 seconds and then he disappears for half a season.
Oh, I do remember that. Oh man.
I understand why Christina was so comforted by Owen Hunt because he's so blunt. And it's like a Preston Burke who's not smart enough to play Preston Burke games where you always know how he's feeling and you know that he's just damaged enough to like you or whatever. And but damn, another one where I'm like, why can't Christina find one man who actually enjoys who she is as a person?
And also, how does Christina need to have two like surprise babies? Like
Right.
surprise pregnancies
Hmm.
and then two abortions.
Two
Or maybe she
abortions.
doesn't have this maybe she miscarries the first one, but she was going to have an abortion.
No, I think her and Preston have two pregnancies. I think it's both. I think she has a miscarriage when they're first sleeping together.
Yes,
And then
right.
they date seriously. She has a second pregnancy but they're broken up again. And he holds her through an abortion or something because Owen doesn't show up for her Owen Hunt abortion because he's pro life.
Right, exactly. So I think that like him crawling in bed with her is when she miscarries because nobody knew she was pregnant.
Right. But I
But is
also
there
have
another one?
Yes,
Okay. Three?
I have
No.
this image in my head of her sitting in a chair and she doesn't think anyone's coming because her and Meredith are kinda on the outs,
Oh
and he shows
no.
up and grabs her hand even though they're pissed off at one another. I think it's after the tremor.
Oh no. This woman needs to never have surprise pregnancies ever.
Also,
I
Owen Hunt is the king of surprise pregnancies. I'm convinced he refuses to use protection, and he's just one of those guys.
I don't want to get into that. That would just make him an even worse. Like he's the worst of the worst. I can't have him be even more worse. I think that brings up the point of sometimes like the good guys in the show that present as good guys are really the worst guys. And I feel like Owen is given that like hero entrance with the icicle and the veteran
Yeah,
status.
he's a war doctor.
And then, George falls into that category of like, he's just a nice guy. But really, he's not a nice guy. And he's not kind to the people he is in relationships with at all.
No, George was terrible to Callie.
I'm in the throes of that part of it. And it's really, really terrible. And also hilarious that Callie's rebound is Mark Sloan. Like you're with George because like you think George is hot and he put his hand in a heart in an elevator and oh my gosh, he's great. But then you rebound with Mark Sloan, which is like he's a 10. And like but so they're just not on the same level. And George was really, really hateful to her every step of the way.
George is really hateful to Callie for someone who you can still tell still has sex like a virgin. Like, so she upgraded to Mark Sloan, whose like literal side hustle is pleasing women.
Yes, and
Like,
he's very honest about what he's gonna bring to this table. He's like, "Here I am. I'm the dirty mistress, and, like, let's have some fun."
also, Mark Sloan, queer ally, when Callie wants to start dating women, Mark teaches her how to go down on women.
Oh, I forgot that. Yes, he is. They had a great relationship.
So he's fully slept with Callie. They've had some sort of friendship camaraderie or whatever. And then he's like, you're going to date chicks? That's hot. Do I get to know details? And she's like, no. And he's like, what if I teach you how to do cunnilingus the correct way?
Right, and that's what the guys that come on the show as assholes, I think, really are who they are and don't hate women as much as the guys who come on as the good guys, is my theory.
Yeah, because Owen Hunt does get this like hero treatment from all of the men too, because he's seen combat and they're all hard about it. They're like, he could do surgery with a stapler. And they're also so mad that he's like He-Man risen from the hospital basement. And they're so mad at him, but they're also in awe of him. And then like so he gets that hero worship. And then like Christina like literally is like, I don't care how many times he physically abuses me, I'm gonna heal his PTSD because I too have PTSD.
Right, and speaking of PTSD, I think when I stopped watching the show the second time was after the shooting episode and all of the trauma bonding that went on after that, where there were a lot of relationships kind of on the bubble, if I'm remembering correctly. And then they all really like doubled down in bad relationships after the shooting. So, like Owen and Christina, they were like Owen was torn between Teddy and Christina and then doubles down on Christina. And then Lexi and Karev together and then she is still with him afterwards. And you're like, no guys, that's the wrong choices. Don't choose them again, please. But that trauma bonding really like threw all the relationships into a meat grinder.
Well, because Christina and Owen, I didn't realize, only get married because Christina is basically a mute
Oh
hermit
yeah.
after the plane crash. And he like
Yes.
Nell from the movie Nell,
Yes. I
he ne-
solid callback.
he Liam Neeson's her and tries to make her fit for society again and
Yes.
medicine, so she marries him.
Oh. And then he gets mad about her surprise pregnancy and her abortion that he probably never forgives her for.
Because none of these men, except for Mark Sloan and Alex Karev, are listening to these women when they talk. I, Christina Yane, is the first person I think I ever heard on TV say, I don't want kids, and then actively chose that choice every day. Oh, a surprise baby? Abort it. Another surprise baby? Abort it. Like, because usually we get the, oh, I don't want kids. And then the surprise pregnancy happens. And then all of a sudden you rise to the occasion.
Mhm. Yeah. Yes, I do not like that in stories or plots, and I think a crossover to shows of where men hate women. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has a surprise pregnancy this last season, and it was traumatic to watch this woman who wanted to leave her husband ha- is pregnant, very pregnant, and decided to stay and had to leave the show because she was so depressed about it.
Also, by the time, have you watched the reunion yet? Because it's like she's had a lobotomy. I'm like, who?
That the blonde hair, it is Don't Worry, Darling. Is that the name of that movie that went so badly? It is that she is very blonde, very baby voice, very just happy. And you know what? Maybe she's on some great meds that are helping her. Who knows?
Number one, the Mormon wives, I don't know how much ketamine they gave her, but it was enough to like literally turn her into a trad wife over again. They're all trad wives. But
Yes. But right. So we have the two examples of the surprise babies, surprise pregnancies.
and yeah, and the rising to the occasion. And I don't think that we give Christina Yane enough credit for, or I guess Shonda, or for whoever wrote the story arc, how much that means to me as a woman who does not want to have kids, where I always have Christina Yane to lean back on to be like, well, I guess it doesn't matter if no one holds my hand during the abortion, or this is a choice that but it also taught me that like just because you're saying it doesn't mean that they're hearing it. So you literally have to live it and call their bluff.
Yes. Right. Because in both occasions, and maybe this mysterious third that I've blocked out, is her really doubling down and saying, "Absolutely not. That's not what I'm doing. That's not the path that I'm on. I'm not gonna be a general surgeon mommy. Like, I know what I'm good at, and I'm gonna pursue it." And I think you're right. It is really, like, seeing that is powerful, and I waited, like, 7 years before I had kids, and a lot of questions of, "When are you gonna have kids?" And I was a bit, "I don't know that I ever want them." Like, I didn't know
Yeah.
if I ever wanted them until I decided to have them.
Yeah. And then I also think that it was so interesting this last watch through how when Meredith gets pregnant and actually wants a family with Derek, how betrayed Christina feels about that. And like I'm like, it's shitty, but I understand where that, like, grief and that hurt comes from because, like, I think Christina always thought that her and Meredith would do life together, and then Meredith goes 100% in on Derek.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it is, I think it is hard. I love that Sandra Oh chose to not be on the show. Like, I love that
Yeah.
journey for her as an actress, and I wonder what kind of stories we could have had with her on it and not just her, like, text bubble every once in a while on the show.
Someone in a wig at Derek's funeral that we're supposed to believe is Christina Yang.
And I'm also glad that they didn't kill her off and that she got to live a life outside of that was the life she chose.
Yes, finally. And when it comes to Owen Hunt, he just he's always looking for a broken bird to heal, but he doesn't want you to actually be healed. He wants you to be indoctrined to him. He wants you to imprint on him like a werewolf. um, and we see it with Amelia. Um, Amelia always has a large piece of my heart because she tells Owen Hunt, "I didn't love you. It was a brain tumor."
Yes, that is the best, like,
Hilarious.
get out of jail free, whoopsie, like, eraser to the storyline that maybe we need more of.
And now he finally is married to Teddy, and that was supposed to be endgame, but he's also never considered the fact that Teddy had an entire life outside of him. And then we find out it's a queer life. And I can't imagine the king of pro life is also the king of gays.
Eh,
Like,
the king of you named our baby after your first true love.
yeah, Allison.
Yeah, I think the Teddy Owen dynamic is, like, since they're the ones that are currently on the show right now from the seasons past, is the most infuriating because it's like they don't know what to do with Teddy as not someone who's, like, pining after Owen or ruining her marriage by sleeping with Karasix or whatever it was, that went on with them, and they don't, her being chief and almost dying because she didn't go to the dentist or whatever, and her being mad at Owen for legitimately almost ruining their lives and them having to run away to wherever and seek legal counsel. Like, it felt like she was the bad guy in that. That, like, Owen made some choices that were bad for everyone, like the law, and yet it seemed like Teddy was like the adult that was like, "Oh, you did a bad thing, and now you're Teddy's also the villain for being mad at that."
Well, and isn't it always funny that like Owen Hunt's hands are always tied, where it's like, well, I had to be there for Christina. She was Nell. She was Nelled out after the plane crash. And then it was, well, I had to help these guys break the law and choose to end their lives because I'm a veteran and I know how it is. And then it's like, well, I had to love Teddy because she's been pining for 20 years. And then it eventually turns into, and I had to sleep with that other woman I knew in high school because Teddy was supposed to sleep with Sophia Bush.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
like literally My hands are tied. It's never actually his responsibility, and he's so bad.
Well, right, and that goes back to the idea that the women are the ones that it's all their fault. That they're the ones that are held responsible for men's actions or men's desires or men's feelings, and the men just get to have these feelings and these desires, and that's not to say I love the women characters on Grey's, and I don't want to shit on Shonda because she gave us so much, and I love her so much, um, even, she so we have been given these stories of complex women, and so I don't wanna shit on that, but I do wanna shit on that these men are awful and that they aren't the examples of love that we maybe thought they were 20 years ago, and as they're trying to evolve the storyline, like, with Winston and Melon or Jules, I don't know how to say her last name, it's like they're trying to redo it and do it better, but it's still, like, not fully there because the men are still kind of awful or a lot awful.
I see us positioning our awful man Ray Gun over to Miranda's husband Ben, and I'm like, not Ben. You can have any of them, but you can't have Ben. There are so many other husbands to choose from. That Ben has stood by Miranda through thick and thin and has done it almost flawlessly.
Yeah. Like, and they've adopted 2 children in 1 year, right? And yes, he is great. I was trying to refresh my memory on all the different relationships for my, very childlike drawing of the relationship web, and it always came down to, like, Ben and Miranda, best relationship on this show. All of them were like, they got it going on," and you're like, "Good, we need some, unproblematic people."
Because I really thought that this season was going to end with Miranda kicking Ben out again because he was clearly going to lose his job at Seattle Grays for all the shit he was pulling. And that does. And I was going to stand with Miranda on that because that does rat up her anxiety. And it's like the meds can't do it all. Like the meds, the therapy, the breathing techniques. Like at some point, you have to also just stop bringing stress into my workplace. Um, and it didn't end that way. It turns out that Teddy and Owen were the breakup of the finale episode, and I was like, thank God, thank God.
But that breakup felt, I wanna say, lackluster, like, I feel
Oh,
like I missed it.
yeah, Teddy just going, I'm finally choosing me. What does that mean? Do we get Sophia Bush back? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Like,
nobody should have said no to that, like, if this is Hamilton and we're Maria Reynolds, like, don't say no to that.
no, I am so mad and frustrated that no one, no one got Sophia Bush into a compromising position. I was like,
Right, and, like, what's going on with Amelia's love life? This is just a tangent at this point. Where are we at with Amelia? She's just working,
and it,
solving Alzheimer's.
yeah. And is she going to kiss Natalie Morales? Yes or no?
Right, no, exactly. Oh, I forgot about them because they don't put them together because their chemistry is so wonderful that we would just need them to be together
Please
forever.
just kiss. Like,
They're so good.
I know. It's like Sophia and Natalie, you can tell me, would you just not sign up for more episodes? Is it
Right.
bad there?
Let us know.
Comment. Like, because again, because okay, I was almost to the point where I was like, okay, they're bringing in whole new people. I don't have to be involved here. And then the
Mhm.
woman who plays Jules is the woman who played Mary Queen of Scott on Rain, which is a shitty WB show.
I mean, the WB knows what it is and
Yes.
stays in its lane to perfection, you
And
know?
I watched every minute of Rain and loved it. And I am
Yes.
so attracted to her. And I was like, "Fine, I'll watch a couple of episodes and see if I'm still attracted to Adeline Kane," and it turns out I am. And then I was starting to get over it again because there's too many of them, so it's not like anyone I care about is getting enough screen time. And then they went and then Sophia Bush posted a picture. I think maybe it was public on Instagram. I like to think it was just for me. And it was her in a gray Sloan coat. And I was like, "God damn it, Shonda, every time, every time." Sophia Bush can get me to do anything and go anywhere.
The white
Brooke,
van.
Brooke Davis can get me to do anything, anywhere. Ugh. And I guess Shonda knows someone's paying
Yeah,
attention to my social media.
exactly. They know how to hook us back in. They know how to keep
Yeah.
us.
I do want to touch on George and give it its actual moment
Oh,
because
yeah.
I think we just breezed by him.
Yeah.
George is one of those guys who is so mediocre looking and
Mhm.
nervous and not funny enough that you don't think he's a threat. And the entire time, all he's doing is waiting for you to have the one big breakup so you sleep with him. He's like, one day, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it.
I wish I was good at editing and could re-edit certain scenes with like serial killer music for George's scenes. Like if we could rewatch this and it's you, season Grays, like of him just being not the good guy. Like he looks like the good guy, but really he just wants to have Meredith in a way.
Or Izzy or Christina or truly any of them. I think I think that's what you learn from George is like he'd take any of them and then he's so mad when it's Callie. And it's like, why? Because she's fun. Like,
Oh, right. Okay. So several things. I don't think George really ever liked Meredith. I think he liked the idea of Meredith and the things that he says about her. It's like, and you were wearing the black dress with the strappy sandals, and we talked about this. And I just don't think he really ever had a conversation with her. I don't think he listened to her. I don't think he was a good friend to her. And then, even when they sleep together and they're both consenting adults, and it doesn't go the way he wants, and then he's the one that tells everybody what happened on
mhm,
accident, and she is the one that's at fault because she should know better. When they finally talk, he's like, "I knew you didn't want me. I just," and you're like, "Well, that's the creepiest thing you could say, and that's not an apology, and that just makes you awful."
right. Well, and then it's the same thing. So, like, Izzy takes the brunt of the George and Izzy affair. Like, they end up
Y-
cheating on Callie together,
Yes.
and it's Izzy's fault, even though George preyed on Meredith when she was grieving
Yep.
Derek, and he preyed on Izzy when she was grieving the death of the perfect man, Denny Duquesne.
Oh my gosh. Did you see Jeffrey Dean Morgan is hosting a new reality TV show that I will be watching
Yeah,
every episode of?
so to bring One Tree Hill back in because I never leave.
Shout out to the WB.
Shout out to the WB. Denny Duquesne, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is married to Hillary Burton, who played Peyton Sawyer on One Tree Hill. They are the hottest couple I've ever seen.
They
I
deserve it.
I get minute by minute updates on them because whenever I'm having a bad moment, and there are several, I'm like, maybe I could find a new picture of Hillary and Jeffrey Dean standing next to one another.
Okay, well, I want to sign up for this group text where you just like curate the news and photos of them for me.
They're so hot. And Denny Duquesne was the perfect man because he was on the show for 10 minutes, so he couldn't disappoint us,
Right. And he barely ever stood up.
right? And
He
he was
just was in
bedridden the
bed.
entire time.
He was laying down the whole time,
And he was,
loving Izzy.
yeah, and he died and had that heart murmur thing before
Yeah.
we could learn anything about his relationship with
Yeah.
his dad.
And then he had millions of dollars. So
Millions.
I just,
The perfect man.
He knew what he wanted.
But George sleeps with, like, Izzy's clearly spiraling. And I will say that Alex Karev, the douchebag himself, at least waits a year, maybe more, maybe until at least Izzy can start formulating sentences again without crying to be like, maybe I heal you from the Denny Duquettes of it all.
Yeah. I, I think the thing, one of the things that I hate about George is that the way he never sticks up for Callie with the girls. And like, it would have gone so far if he had done anything. But I think he liked that that they didn't like her. I think that that gave him something like, oh, they're protecting me, or oh, everybody is paying attention to me and Callie is being punished by being attracted to me by my friends. And then he completely disrespects Callie. And that's the other thing is that back to the power dynamic, here's one example of Callie is the attending and George is the intern. And everybody's fine with this relationship. No one seems to have any problem with it. And like if the girl was the intern, I feel like then we would have a problem with the girl intern, you know? But he completely doesn't respect her as a doctor. Like there's an episode where he's questioning her choices to do surgery on an like ultra marathon runner, and he gets him to leave the hospital, and you're like, you just can't respect this woman's profession, like her actual schooling profession. You, George, know better than this doctor.
And then he gets hit by a bus.
He does. That who is gonna die episode was really dark.
Well, and also, like, so George is that little guppy who can't. So, like, he is the first intern in the intern class to kill someone during surgery. He is also the only one who doesn't pass his boards. So he has to repeat his intern year. And so, like, it's all boiling up. And I'm like, ooh, this is why we need to start telling people that, like, men like George are dangerous. Like, literally, they will get beaten down enough where their pride is literally nothing. So now he's got to go and, like, shame Callie all day, every day. And then be like, but you should be my wife.
Right. Or like you should not move in because I changed my mind but never told you out loud. Or you should let me love you because I didn't say I loved you, but let me say it when I want to. Like every interaction that they have that could be or should be romantic does not age well after 20 years.
Just like one of those tiny little dogs that has something to prove all the time.
Yeah, well, and I think him and Karev, Alex and George are a really good mirror to each other because Alex comes in as like a douche and a womanizer and is sleeping around and gives George syphilis or whatever STI that went around the
It
hospital.
was syphilis.
And like, but that's who Alex was. And he knew who he was. And he was honest about it. And he didn't try to hide it. And I feel like that's like with Mark too. He comes in and owns that he slept with Addison, is honest that he loved Addison, and he also continued to sleep around.
Yeah. Also, like, and I think the difference between, like, Mark and Alex is they can actually see women as a whole person. And then when it's real for them, like, Alex was great to Izzy during the whole cancer scenario. He was a good husband to Joe. He was disrespectful as fuck when he left, but
Yes.
he
But
was a
we blame that on the scam artist Gray's
yes.
situation now.
Yeah, you got to watch that documentary. It's wild.
So, so wild, but resolved a lot of my anger at the
Yeah.
show.
Uh-huh. And then like Mark with Lexi and how much he truly cared about whether or not he was crossing a line with little Gray, and what ramifications that was going to have on not even just her career, but like also her personal life. Like all of a sudden he has a 22-year-old daughter and it's like, well, Lexi herself is 25. So what does this look like?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's gonna be a grandpa. And like, I mean, Mark and Lexi kill me. Just truly kill me.
Yes. I think like with Mark and with Alex, they are who they are and they grow and they change. Like Alex hating being Addison's intern and being that intern for punishment, but then growing into into peds. They were upfront about it, and not that it's okay to come in hating women or being a womanizer or, they, I think, have enough growth, but also, like you said, see women as women and like sex aside, or they, I don't know, they're not as bad as George, is what I'm saying. Or Preston or Owen. It Yeah, you're like, "I'm gonna get with Alex because," or like Callie sleeping with Mark. I'm gonna have a good time with Mark because George is being a little bitch. So I know what I'm choosing. I'm and getting what I want out of it. Everyone's satisfied in that story.
And what Kelly ends up with is a father for her baby
Exactly. And like a best friend.
and a thorn in Arizona's side.
Yes. Yes.
No, I didn't like it. It's such a large show and it's such a large cast, and we are at the point where we are recycling story plot lines. And we're getting new Dereks and new Burks and new Marks every day. But I really do think like there's so much weight to that show, and it is because it's been going on for 20 years, such a time capsule of how women have disrespected or respected ourselves, like what we were willing to put up with.
Yeah. I agree.
Meredith doesn't even tell Nick that she's going to move to Boston. She just puts her house on the market.
Right. And I did they somehow get engaged in this last episode?
I don't
It
know. I
felt
really
like
like Nick.
you don't like him?
No, I love Nick.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm like, I want the Felicity actors to just be on everything
Yeah.
forever and
I
I'll be
never
happy.
I never watched Felicity, and
Oh,
maybe
I
I
didn't
should.
watch it either. I just love that these men keep popping up and I know that they are from the WB. So maybe you do need to watch it.
Everyone should be watching the WB, is what I'm saying. Uh,
Sponsor us. Are they
uh,
still bankrupt? Are they bankrupt? Are they around still?
who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? Um, I, but yeah, when it comes, I also liked that man with the good hair, who was Owen's friend from the war, who
Oh,
was
Riggs?
Riggs. I liked the
Okay.
man with the good hair, Riggs. He unfortunately had to quit Grey's Anatomy to be on the most boring show in existence, Virgin River.
Wait, is that why he left?
Yeah, he's the main guy on Virgin River now.
What is that, a WB show?
No, it's a
Oh,
Netflix show.
okay. I don't
And
think
it's
I.
basically off of like Christian romance novels.
Okay.
You should watch
Uh,
it. Watch one episode for me.
okay.
Time doesn't exist on Virgin River. We'll go 3 years between seasons, and yet they pick it right back up like we had just not seen these people 5 minutes ago. And it's
Oh
like
my
they've aged
gosh.
30 years.
Okay, so Riggs ended up with Meredith, but then was in love with Owen's sister, who they
Sister.
found,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
But see, I wonder what happened to like the Scottish or Irish man that had
Yes,
interest
him.
in.
The one that
um
Christina sends to
yes,
her
yes.
across the
I
sea.
was very mad that that never took off with Meredith
You know,
because
he was
I
so
was
hot.
I was into that accent. I was there for that storyline, and then maybe he has a show somewhere and that's why he left.
I know I didn't follow him to the next. I did Riggs though.
Okay, well now I'm gonna Google that later and find out what happened.
Virgin River is so wild because they'll say the most dramatic shit, deadpan, like no one has any feelings, and then they just pan to a beautiful mountainside because
Oh my
with a river
gosh.
going through it, and and your mind is just wiped from what awful conversation just happened. It's wild. It's a wild show.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's all we wrote.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they are starting to redo storylines a bit with the new class of interns that they keep bringing in.
I mean, also, I'm not one to throw women under the bus for being misogynist, but I hate Catherine Weber
Oh, she is going through something, and I want to believe that it's Alzheimer's for some reason, and then
because it
she's
always
gonna have
is.
to fund them. Like, then she can finally put the money behind them.
And I get it. Like, Catherine Weber is the quintessential. I worked really hard to get where I was, but you also married into a family with a bunch of money and a medical
Right.
award and association or whatever we call it.
Mhm.
Um, so okay, Catherine. um, but Catherine worked really hard for everything that she was due or whatever. So like she can't stand when like Meredith finds a loophole and then
Mhm.
she has to make everyone's life hell, which I guess is what conflict is for. But I'm like, Catherine, could you just be a girl's girl once?
Right.
Once.
Right, stop punishing a lot of people.
Just younger women who are probably as talented as you.
I yeah, that branches into the other conversations of how, generationally we don't prepare the next batch of leaders, right?
We sure don't. We instead resent them and
Yes.
make and punish them and make things harder. Cute. Cute. I really hope that millennials break that trend just because we're too tired to punish people.
Right, exactly. We'll just be like, "Go, next generation, you got it. We
You
believe
got
in
it.
you. We believe in you, Gen Z."
Well, Christiana, this has been a bucket list item, and I'm so happy that one writing class brought us together
Me too.
on this show. We pray to the altar of a lot of women, and one of those women is Chelsea Devontes.
Yes. Chelsea, thank
She
you.
brought me to so many talented people, and now I get to talk about Grey's Anatomy, probably because Chelsea was like, "I can't talk to you about One Tree Hill one more time." I did not see it. I did not watch it. Like, so here I am on my own show being like, "I have 2 passions in life, and that's Grey's Anatomy and One Tree Hill."
I'm glad that our Venn diagram can
Yes.
match up for
Yes.
Grays.
Also, thank you for just, like, putting yourself out there and being like, "I can do it. I'm ready. 10
I
toes
mean,
down."
of all the topics you threw out, this one by far was the one I was made for. 20
Yes.
years in the making.
Oh, wait, we didn't even do our close. I'm trying to shut down the show. We didn't do our closing ceremony. I'm already just
Okay.
thanking people. What is the biggest lesson that you've taken away from Grey's Anatomy?
Okay. Like, okay. I think it's hard to distill 20 years of watching one show into one takeaway. I think I think my takeaway is to be more like Mark, Sloan, and Alex and to be honest about who you are. Just show
Oh,
up
okay.
and be the person that you are and don't try to hide behind being the good guy. Just say, I'm ambitious or I'm a womanizer or I don't want kids. Just be you and just don't pretend. And also don't don't get punished by others for how you make them feel. Like all these women getting punished for how they made men feel, that's just I don't have place to hold that. So, those are my takeaways right now.
I I think mine, and again, maybe it's paranoia. Maybe I just want y'all to be safe, but I truly think we have to start actually tracking men's words against their actions and how I once had a friend tell me she's like, I wrote down every mean thing an ex said to me and never showed it to you. But like I would just like, you know, look at it from occasion to like ratify that that was real, that those were things that he said to me. And I'm like, yes, you have to clock every mean thing they say to you and how often and in how many different ways that they say it to you. I've been in a relationship where I was constantly asking a man, "It sounds like you don't like me," instead of just walking away from that man.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Listening to the actions over the "But I love you. Why won't you let me love you?"
And our hormones. I was just having this conversation with my friend yesterday about how, like, our bodies are literally set up to gaslight us to continue to have sex with a man to continue to procreate and keep the species alive. So you have to, like, in those moments when, because I've also been in relationships where as soon as he left my driveway and was far enough down the street, my whole body would reset and I would just be like anxious and hate myself
Oh,
and hate
no.
him and hate everything that I just did. But then the next day, he'd show up and my hormones would flood me with the good feelings. I'd be like, man, I'm crazy.
Oh,
I'm just there.
no.
Like,
Yeah.
we have to start understanding our own hormones and our conditioning and the way that our bodies are built to gaslight us.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah. What is something that you would like to manifest for the cast of Grey's Anatomy, Shonda, the collective audience, everyone?
Yeah. I want to manifest. It's crazy out there in the world today.
Crazy.
Um, but I want more of, good good TV that we get to talk about. I know it's silly, but I think those conversations that we get to have, like about the dumb shit, about Love Island, about 20 years of Grey's Anatomy, like laughing about that, like having those moments with people that we get to connect about art, highbrow or lowbrow, like that's where it's at. That's where the good stuff is. And I just want us all to have those moments of like, wasn't that episode really good? Or don't we hate it? Or, it's that connection that I want more of that right now, just connecting with people.
No, we were on the same
Oh, yeah.
wavelength because I was like, I want more people sliding into my DMs to talk to me about my trashy shows. I
Yes.
like I post all the TikToks of everything that I'm ever watching on my TV. So get on my Instagram and my TikTok and start putting in the comments what you think about all these trashy shows that I'm obsessed with.
Yes.
Like, I maybe told my sister not 2 weeks ago that I was contemplating getting a One Tree Hill tattoo. So everyone weigh in because I'm seeing Tyler Hilton in about a month, in maybe a month tomorrow. So do I get the One Tree Hill tattoo or no?
Oh my gosh, I love
So
this.
everyone weigh in and but yeah, I never want TV to go away. I love books, I love movies, but I love TV and I miss everyone watching the same thing on Wednesday and then talking about it at school or work or wherever on Thursday.
I agree. I think I've had the best chats on Discord and on Patreons about TV this year that has been so life-giving to me, that has just been us freaking out about Severance or what's going on Love Island right now, and it's just, those connections matter. They're so good.
Best friend of the podcast and my eternal spiritual life partner, Annie Sieg, and I we will only watch And Just Like That together, texting one another throughout because to me, it's not
Yes.
worth it. It's such a ridiculous bad show that I'm like,
Yes.
someone has to be paying attention to my jokes.
Right. Yeah, you're like, "They need an ear."
Someone has to be paying attention to my thoughts. One time, one of the text messages I sent her was, "Oh no, old lady fall." And it was about Carrie falling down the stairs or something. I was like, "Oh no, old lady fall." But yeah, because I mean, it doesn't hit as much when I'm just reenacting Rosie O'Donnell singing For Good to Cynthia Nixon in Times Square because she's never even watched Sex in the City.
Oh my
She
gosh.
has no reference for any of this. And she refused to watch the clip if I sent it to her from TikTok. She's like, I don't actually want to see that. I go, well, none of us wanted to see it.
Right?
But yeah, I just miss it. I miss sensational and sensationalized TV.
Yes.
And I am watching every minute of Love Island and pretty much in real time. So people need to be getting into them DMs
Right. I mean, yeah, we're gonna have to leave this to go watch it and vote probably.
and vote. Yeah, because this is the only, I mean, I think this is the most dedicated I've been as a TV voter since American Idol.
You know,
I'm like,
give
I
the
gotta
people what
vote.
they want. We want to vote on
We
relationships.
do. Christiana, do you have anything to plug before I let us go?
Oh, I write book reviews on Instagram in the little bookstagram corner of the world at Kristiana with a K. It's my name, which is I hope easy to spell.
It doesn't matter if it's hard or easy to spell because it's going to be in the show notes with a link.
Yay! So
Because I
that's
don't,
where people can find me.
yes, I love book reviews. I also read a lot, just slowly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Uh,
there's no rush.
but I've been tracking my books and my TV and my movies on TikTok, and I just really feel like people should be talking to me more about the stuff I'm watching.
You know, it's funny. My page is mostly book reviews, but I realize not everybody's going to read everything, and
Mhm.
we get to have the best conversations about what we're watching though, because that is the great like equalizer
It is.
of. I mean, unless it comes down to I don't have that streaming service, so that is a little hard. But
Yeah, it is. Well, tolerators, you know where to find us and get into my DMs about One Tree Hill. Maybe I'll start Felicity if enough of you bother me. Please bother me. I'd love to start Felicity. It's Natalie K124 for the personal one. Men I've Tolerated Pod for all podcast related things. Natalie K124 on TikTok. And I don't know, start typing into all the men I've tolerated before on Pinterest, YouTube, and any other social media site you're on. See what happens. I don't know. They all auto post and share with one another. So pick your poison. And remember, tolerators, you don't have to smile through anything you're tolerating, including a batch of men with differing levels of really good hair, but really bad attitudes. Smiles are for joy.